Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call to order the Committee of the Whole meeting for May 6, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. in the council chambers. Roll call, please.
Laflamme?
Here.
Roy?
Here.
Wagner?
Here.
Zagorowski?
Here.
Arriaga? Brooks? Goff? Valakir?
Here.
Krampus?
Here.
Shumsky?
Here.
Hushane? Labrie?
Here.
Piniac Costello? Here.
Thank you. If you could mute your phones, it'd be appreciated. Thank you. Participating this evening for the Committee of the Whole meeting is Councilor Tim Wagner. Is there anyone else for Councilor? I see none. Okay. In compliance with the open meeting law, the City of Chicopee is recording this meeting. Is anyone else in the audience or on Zoom taping this meeting? If so, please state your name and an organization. There's no one from the floor. Is there anyone on Zoom? No one on Zoom. Okay, we have one item for the Committee of the Whole this evening. It's item number 1. Be it ordered that the City Council and City of Chicopee, adopt Chapter 329 of the Acts of 1987, an act increasing local control over the annual school budget. Okay, so we're going to open up to public input first. Is there anyone here on the floor for public input on this item number 1? Is there anyone on the floor? Just go name.
Michael Pease, 33 Bonneville Avenue, Chicopee, Mass. So I was ordered to come to the meeting to explain the, I think, rationale behind the requirement, if I could. And I tried to do some legislative research and I had some trouble finding the requirements as to why that act was proposed and why it was adopted. But I can tell you back in 1985, when ed reform was passed, there was a lot of contention between the executive branch and the school committee. A lot of times the mayor would say the reason why police and fire weren't getting raises is because the school salaries were increasing and the school budget was going up. And the school budget was always saying we never have enough funds to do our programs because the mayor's not appropriating the money because he's funding other city-side projects. So there was a lot of contention at the time back in 85. Ed reform passed, we had to make net school spending. So everyone was trying to make net school spending. And I think if the mayor did not spending, so in 87, in order to make sure that net school spending would be met, I believe the state decided to put this provision in there so that you could go up to the school committee amount and make sure you reach net school spending and get to Chapter 70 school aid. The way Chicopee, I think, adopted it and the way we tried to solve the problem at the time, I don't know if Mary Beth, if you were on the committee at the time, but
No, we have to just.
But I'm sorry, but I believe Mayor Cost at the time decided to get rid of the animosity between the branches and have the mayor appointed as the chairman of the school committee. And a lot of other communities around that time were also putting the mayor in as chairman of the school committee to try to resolve the conflict or any type of disagreements between the different branches. So by making the mayor responsible for the school committee and the budget, I think that resolved all the issues in Chicopee. We really haven't had a lot of problems since then that I know of that I would view as a problem. So I don't know if Mr. Wagner had asked me to attend to be here in order that I appear before you and give my input. And I don't know if there's anything else that you want. I can't answer questions if you allow me to during the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else? Dr. Ware, would you like to speak a minute or it's up to you?
Good evening. Just like Mr. P said, I was asked to come here this evening and I'll be able to answer any questions during the regular meeting session, but I don't have anything else for public comment.
And I'm going to apologize because I didn't read it for the backup here. I read the thing. So if you gentlemen would sit at the table, it would be much more appreciated. You'll have some mics available since you requested to be here for this meeting. Okay. Is there anyone here for public input on Zoom? Anyone here for public input on Zoom? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to close public input. Motion made and second to close public input. Roll call, please.
Laflamme? Roy?
Yes.
Wagner?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
Goff? Balakir? Crumpets?
Yes.
Chomsky? Labrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
Thank you. And at this time, I'm going to ask Councilor Wagner, who proposed it, sending this to the committee of the whole, to speak on it first. Councilor Wagner?
Thank you, Mr. President. Do we need a motion at all first, or am I just being allowed to speak?
You are the one who put the request forward.
Okay, yeah, I
So
just
we're
was
gonna
asking
allow you to speak
procedurally
first.
if I needed a motion. Okay. Yeah, so thank you, Mr. President. The reason for my putting this forward, I know a lot of school committees have adopted the way of adding the mayor to the school committee, whether as a member, not as the chair necessarily, as in Greenfield and East Hampton, and many other communities like Springfield and Chicopee and so on, as the chair of the school committee to sort of bridge a gap between executive and the legislative and school department. But there are still some times, I again will reference Greenfield, when the mayor proposed a budget substantially less than what the school committee asked for. City of Greenfield, through other means, I don't know if it was necessarily this act, was able to reappropriate at least some money to the school department budget. So, I think that it's could potentially be a good tool if the city council wanted to be able to have a little bit more financial control within the city of Chicopee, rather than just voting up or down whatever the mayor puts in front of us. And for those of you who don't know or who haven't read the act, I assume most of you have. If the city council were to adopt this by a 2/3 majority vote, we could appropriate an amount up to what the school committee asks, but not exceeding Proposition 2.5. So I just thought it could be an interesting tool for the city council to use if we ever deemed it necessary. Although there's no pressing matter that would require it at this time, but yeah, just having additional tools in our belt, I think, could be a good idea.
You all set?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Wagner. Okay, I'm going to open up to city councilors for Councilor Labrie.
Yes, Council President Laflamme, you mentioned that you have some backup material we don't have.
No, the information that was given them to have them appear. The two, that's all. I didn't have that
Okay,
backup.
because I don't have any information on
Correct.
Chapter 329.
Correct. But Councilor Wagner did speak regarding that, and it's exactly what he said. Councilor Balakir.
Thank you. So if we went into emergency session, if we had a real quagmire, we could, if we didn't pass this tonight, we could readdress this, correct? And we could go back and we could look at this again and we could prove it, correct? So if we had to,
We'll let the council talk.
okay.
This is a Council, this is a committee of the whole, so this just acts as a committee. So you're only making a favorable or unfavorable recommendation as if you were any other committee. You're not passing anything tonight. You could make that recommendation to the full council meeting, then you could pass it or not.
All right, okay, thank you for that clarification.
Thank you. Any other councilors from the floor? Councilor Crumpets.
Yeah, I did have a chance to look at the act and read through it. And, it is an interesting tool, but I can see some potential problems with that. As I think most of the councilors are aware, when it comes to school committee budget, we can either pass it or we can deny it. We could reduce it, but you can't reduce certain sections of the budget. You can't say, well, we are going to take, $2 million out of, let's say, transportation or something like that. Or if they ended up, in this case, if this was passed, they came up short and they said, well, we need $2 million extra to fund this program. We could put that money in the budget if we pass this, but that's not necessarily where it would end up going. So I kind of worry about the loss, you know, I understand why this was filed and it's an interesting concept, but I guess I just worry about potential for good intentions going awry, that we say we're gonna, you know, we're gonna do this, we're gonna appropriate money because something didn't work out, and then that money doesn't go to what we initially intended because we can't specify where we want it to go in the budget. We can just say, we are gonna add this into your budget and, you know, that's the way that I read it. So those are really my concerns at this point.
Thank you. Counselor Shumsky.
I do want to echo the same thing that Councilor Crampett said, but the other thing that when I looked at this is it's almost like a checks and balances system that we have already. And I know in the past, I believe it was 2 or 3 years ago, I think Councilor Wagner can correct me on that if I'm wrong, when we came in front of the city council at the time for our school department budget with the additional 1.25 million. I believe at the time the council said they would be willing to grant that money to the school department if they needed it. So I don't know, I feel like that's kind of the same thing that the language is wording tonight, what was said 2 or 3 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Okay, I'm just gonna, a couple minutes here if I could. So, oh, got a hand up? Oh, Councilor Wagner next. Go ahead, Councilor Wagner, second time.
No, Mr.
Sorry,
President.
Councilor Wagner, you're behind me. I didn't see it.
Mr. President, if you'd like to speak, I'll give way.
What did she say?
If you'd like to speak.
No, you
first.
can go first. I'm sorry. You're behind. I didn't see your hand behind me. No, you go first.
All right. Yeah. So, I feel like I should just, mention, this isn't like, whenever we pass a school department budget, they have line item authority anyway. Whatever money we give the school department, they can use for any purpose, outside of salary expenses that they really want. It was a pretty common thing when Councilor Shumsky and I were on the school committee to have money moved between line items for various purposes, depending on the situation, as the city council does with the mayor's orders. Whatever money we give them, they can do basically whatever they want with it anyway. The thing is, if the mayor wanted to cut the school department budget at all, this administration has always guaranteed or given us a guarantee that whatever money the school department needs, it would give it. But let's say we have a mayor somewhere down the line who doesn't think that way and who thinks that the school department needs less money. There is no recourse for this council being able to get that money back, except for the only thing that I can think of is back when Clerk Rattell was on, or back when Clerk Rattell and then Mayor Bissonnette were having issues, and it was an issue of we're going to cut Clerk Rattell's staff for X reason, and the council came back and said, well, we're going to cut a couple of your staff, Mr. Mayor. That, I don't want to reduce us to that level of political squabbling. And it would take a 2/3 majority vote of the council, like any other financial order. So I understand that there are concerns about this, but I think that, if this council wanted to, and the school committee had good reason for it, I think that we ought to adopt this and ought to be able to reappropriate some money if we see fit. Thank you.
Okay, you actually spoke on something I wanted to speak on, so I'm actually all set now, so Jim mentioned it. Okay, is there any other comments from the floor? Is there any other comments from Zoom? Seeing none? Okay, so I'm going to read the order one more time, and we're going to take a vote. A yes vote is in favor of adopting it, and a no vote is to deny it. Read it one more time, just so we understand it. Be it ordered that the City Council in the City of Chicopee adopt Chapter 329 of the Acts of 1987, an act increasing local control over the annual school budget. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, Council, favorable report, will we approve this evening? And an unfavorable will not. Correct. Correct. Councilor LaBrie.
Could I ask, Dr. Ware his opinion on, this chapter, 329?
Absolutely.
So good evening. Oh, is this on? Okay.
Yep.
Good evening, everyone. And listening to everyone speaking here tonight, as well as looking at the way the act is written, because I actually have it pulled up on my phone to remind me about it. And so I'm in favor of what the city council would like to do, and as far as this vote's concerned, albeit this is my first year in district, I can say that any support that the city council would like to provide the school committee is greatly welcome and appreciated. But I don't have any other information to provide at this time, because from what I read it, it's similar to what's been discussed this evening.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I need a motion now on the order from someone.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion that the order be received and recommended favorably to the council.
Motion made and seconded that the order be received and approved this evening favorable on the council. Roll call, please.
Laflamme? Roy?
No.
Wagner?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
No.
Goff? Valakir?
No.
Krampus?
No.
Chomsky?
No.
LaBrie?
No.
Piniac Costello?
Yes.
Mr. President, I'll be in to sign that document, the signature thing tomorrow, if that's all right.
Yes.
Oh, maybe not. Oh, cool.
Councilor Wagner, we'll write you in as a favorable, and you don't need to come in. We'll write it in for you. As long as you
Appreciate
just, if you would allow, thank you. Okay, and so the motion was defeated. Okay, now we'll go into minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of April 19th, 2012 and March 30th of 2015?
Motion to approve the minutes.
That was a long time ago.
I was in middle school.
Could you read the minutes, please?
Yes.
Read them?
Yeah, motion to approve the minutes of April 19th, 2012 and March 30th, 2015.
Motion made second to approve the minutes of April 12th, 2012 and March 30th, 2015. Roll call, please.
Laflamme?
That's the year you graduated from.
Roy?
Yes.
Wagner?
Yes.
Zagorowski?
Yes.
Goff? Valakir?
Yes.
Krampus?
Yes.
Chomsky?
Yes.
LaBrie?
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
Yes.
In the favorite part, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made and second to adjourn. Roll call, please.
Roy,
Yes.
Wagner, Zagorowski,
Here.
Goff, Valakir,
Yes.
Crumpets,
Yes.
Chomsky. Labrie,
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
Yes. Thank you.